What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillispie here, Cubs Baseball Channel. Big news, Jordan Wicks, the Cubs first-round pick and left-handed pitcher, getting called up to the major leagues, looking for him to start on Sunday. We're going to get into all that, but before, let me remind you guys, we want you to be part of the channel. I got some Jody Davis autographed baseball cards, and I've got a few of them. So you got to be a subscriber. You got to comment to get in the running for that. So make sure that you're part of the channel. All right, guys, let's get into this. Jordan Wicks getting called up to the major leagues, and this is a big win for the Cubs. This is a big win for their scouting and development. He's a left-handed pitcher, 6'3", 220. He's a guy that I've seen a lot pitching for the Smokies, the Cubs Double-A team. And he's a guy that brings a lot to the table. You talk about his pitch mix. Let's start with the different fastballs that he throws. He's got a four-seam fastball. Four-seam fastball, it's one of those pitches. I think it's like a bread and butter pitch for every guy, but for him, it's not his best pitch. It is a good pitch for him, though. I mean, he's a guy that's going to throw the ball, in the upper 90s. Well, let's say the lower 90, 92, 95 zone, somewhere in there. He's not going to overpower guys, but at the same time, he's got some movement on this pitch, and it's one of his better offerings. He also throws a two-seam fastball. It was the pitch that he used a lot in college. And in college, he was at Kansas State, one of the best pitchers in school history. And that's something that he's able to go to from time to time. And then he's also got this cutter. And this is a pitch that he added to the arsenal last year. And that made a lot of people happy. You're constantly seeing guys work. We saw him do this when he was working with the team that I broadcast for, the Tennessee Smokies last year. I don't think it's his best pitch, but you're talking 87 to 90, 91. It's got some cut to it, and it really helps him keep the hitters off balance. So I'm definitely curious to see as he moves and progresses in the big leagues, what he relies on as far as, pitches in his start against the Pirates, which is probably going to come on Sunday, right? All right, let's talk about his breaking balls. He's got two different breaking balls Jordan Wicks throws. And I wouldn't say that, just like the four-seam fastball, that these are his top pitches, but he just added a slider before the 2022 season. And, it's a pretty good pitch for him. I mean, it's again, not his go-to pitch. We're going to talk about that here in just a second, but right now in baseball, you feel like you really want to have a good slider that has, some horizontal break and also some sweep. And he's got that. And the fact that he's a left-hander, it's a good pitch to use against lefties. And he's got a curveball. This is one of the things that you really want to see a left-hander have. I mean, think about it. When you're facing other left-handers, you throw the curveball. Justin Steele has a fantastic curveball. I call it the Bert Blyleven. I mean, that big hook that comes in there. So, Wicks has one as well. I saw where someone put on there 55%, 55 a vertical break, if I can stop stuttering. So this is a pretty good pitch for him. It's like a 70-mile-an-hour pitch. It's almost like a changeup with, obviously with some bite to it. And that brings us to his best pitch, and that is the changeup. And I love a pitcher whose best pitch is the changeup. You've seen guys like Kyle Hendricks who rely on a changeup. Changing speeds works at every single level. One of the best Cubs that I can remember with a changeup was Randy Wolf, if you can remember him. He was a pitcher for the Cubs in like 2007 era up in there. But he had this amazing changeup. And when Jake Arrieta came through the minor leagues and pitched with the Smokies on his way to becoming a Cy Young Award winner and one of the all-time great pitchers that the Cubs have had, it was the changeup that stood out to me. And when I'm watching and I'm going, man, that's like a Randy Wolf changeup, but the guy's coming back with 96. So Jordan Wicks throws an amazing changeup. It's his best pitch. It's hard for lefties to see. He's able to throw it on the outside corner to righties. He's able to kind of change speeds with it. He can go a little bit faster, or he can dump it right out of the strike zone. Looks like a strike, and then by the time a right-hander swings, it's in the dirt. I think it's what makes him so effective as a starting pitcher is the ability to throw that changeup. And I talked to him before the season. Really confident guy. Nice dude, and someone that I'm excited about getting this opportunity to go to the big leagues. And let's talk about his stats this year in the minor leagues. Look for the changeup a lot as he kind of progresses in the Cubs rotation. And this is something that the Cubs really needed. Look, Drew Smyly hasn't been getting it done. You draft these guys. Jordan Wicks is a former first rounder, and you want him to push to get a spot in the major leagues, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. So talking about his year, it's been great. Started out in Double-A, struggled in Double-A last year. He was really good this year, and then moved to Triple-A, and it's been all about the same. 7-0 record, a 3.55 ERA. If he could have gotten one more strikeout, right, it would have looked a little bit better just to have 100 strikeouts, but 99, I'm going to give him that extra K. 32 walks, I'm sure he'd like to drop that a little bit, but still, that's a very good strikeout to walk ratio. The one thing that I can tell you of concern as Jordan Wicks gets this, start, and I'm guessing that if he does well, he's got a chance to be in the rotation long term. Maybe not, but I think it could happen, is the home runs. And what I will say about Jordan Wicks as you look at his stats is it comes down to the first couple of pitches. If he gets ahead of you, he's really difficult to predict and to hit. And he's got all those different pitches in his arsenal. If he falls behind, he becomes more predictable, and you'll see him give up some home runs. So he gave up 12 home runs so far this year in the minor leagues. And that was something that I noticed, as he was coming up, in the system last year, in particular, that he would give up home runs and some to lefties, and that would be a lot of times where he fell behind. But he's become a lot more mature over the last couple of years. And with Ben Brown still on the IL, and you look through the Cubs and the different pitchers that they have, the different options that they could bring up, it's Jordan Wicks who really gives them, I think, the best option of winning. And obviously that's why the Cubs right now are giving him an opportunity to go to the major leagues and jump into this pennant race. And this is what, again, you develop pitchers for, so that when the opportunity arises and you can give a guy a chance to get in there, you hope that they'll be able to do that. So a little bit more on Jordan Wicks. I'll give you some background on him as well. He was born in Conway, Arkansas. He went to Conway High School. He was a 4-year letter winner for Conway. His high school was the Wampus Cats, and they had 3 runner-up finishes in the state tournament. But he had just an incredible career for the Wampus Cats. 30 wins, that was a school record, a 1.54 ERA, and he had a strikeout to walk ratio in high school of 5.6 at Conway. And so, he was all conference 4 times, 2-time all-state selection, and an 11-1 record and a 0.84 ERA with 126 strikeouts his senior year, which is really incredible. But he was also a good athlete. He lettered in football as well, and he was a great kicker as a senior. So that was 2017 and 2018. Then he went to the Big 12. He went to play for Kansas State, and there was a reason for that. One of his mentors was a great pitcher for Kansas State. And so when he had the opportunity to go to college, he went there and was fantastic, including an amazing junior year for Kansas State, the Cougars. That was just amazing for him. When you look at the numbers, he made 15 weekend starts, and he was 6-3 with a 3.70 ERA. He was the national pitcher of the week one time. Twice he was the Big 12 pitcher of the week, and he had 118 strikeouts in those weekend starts. And so in college baseball, the weekend starts are where you put your best pitchers. You put them on the weekend. And so that led him to being drafted by the Cubs. 2021, he was the 21st overall pick by the Cubs. He was the first ever first-round pick selected out of Kansas State. So very cool for Jordan Wicks. One other note that I'll tell you before we wrap this up about Jordan Wicks and what kind of guy he is. He got an invite to go to the draft, and some of you Cubs fans may remember seeing him in Denver, attending the draft in person. He said that he heard the night before that the Cubs were interested because, and then he liked the history of the organization, kind of excited for him. He invited some of his friends out to the draft, and obviously they got to be a big part of what Jordan Wicks did and being drafted by the Cubs. So that's a little background on him. We'll talk more about Jordan Wicks as his career progresses, but just a lot of fun and exciting stuff to see the Cubs. So congratulations to the Cubs scouting. I know we talk a lot about scouting on here and player development. I think they all deserve credit for getting a first-round pick to the big leagues. Guys, I've been a little bit tough on the Cubs at times for the analytics and the fact that some of these guys haven't progressed, but the fact that Jordan Wicks is getting to the big leagues and he's going to be in the starting rotation, or at least he's getting this start and an opportunity, is a win for all of those guys from the top down. So congratulations to them. Fingers crossed that Jordan Wicks has an awesome start. Thanks again for watching this video. Like and subscribe. We want you to be a part of the Cubs baseball channel. This channel is for you guys, and that's why we do it. So for Sam Valente, our producer, I'm Mick Gillispie. Again, like and subscribe, and go Cubs.